Hi, hello everyone, all of my friends here watching my video and coming to my blog. How are you guys doing? Today is January 7th. No, actually it's the 8th. You know, I have disappeared because I went to Texas to be with my daughter's family and see the grandkid for Christmas, and as soon as I stepped in the door I caught RSV with them. And it wasn't that bad. I didn't get a fever, but what I end up is losing my voice. So how do you film when you lose your voice, right? And so I waited and waited, and I did practice, and I had a lot of fun doing that. But then finally, my voice come back. I know it still sound kind of coarse, but I will try to do my best to speak clearly. And today we have a very fun one here for us to do. You might hear me clear my voice once a while. Anyway, I'm going to try to do my best because I don't want to wait too long before I post another video. It's fun for me and I hope it's fun for you guys. So I'm going to venture in doing that, okay? Now, so what you can see here, looking at my drawing that's in front of you, I will put somewhere over here, right? The finished painting so you guys can follow along. And of course I will also put this the outline of the little chickadee and and the pine tree, also a little just gentle outline, maybe a little more detail on the chickadee, but a rough outline, I would say, that for the tree for you guys to see the placement. Okay, now so this is my, okay, you can see that this is my practice I did a couple days ago because I was so excited. I always tell you that I think about things in my head. Okay, there's a couple mistakes I make here. I wanted this to be softer. The star of this painting, I really think, is not the chickadee. To me, is the snow scene of the tree. Okay, so I would like to spend like a little bit faster, not too much, on the chickadee, and then we can go on to the snow, and how to bring it out with the painting of the tree, of the pine tree, and a little bit of the background. Okay, so you know, I'll put this away because there's mistakes everywhere, but I always learn from my mistake when I make my design and do my first practice. So I like to do that. Actually, most of my painting I do that first so that I could be more smooth when I actually come into the painting. Okay, and the paintbrush are about the same, so I'll just list it on my post. My paper is actually 7.5 by 7.5. It's quite small. I have explained that on my sheet paintings because I have to have my phone in a certain area so I can film it nice and clearly, and that you guys may be able to see it as clearly as possible. And so I need to have that kind of paper. If I use too big of a paper, I will have to move this around, and of course 5,000 things to think about, and I will forget. Okay, and so I'm going to just dive in, and I will tell you guys about the color as I paint. Okay, so now I'm going into my Lamb's Black from Daniel Smith. I think the brand is from Daniel Smith. Okay, and go into the first thing I think I will do his cap. Okay, the cap of the chickadee is just kind of black. I can actually put in some other color. I'll see here in a second if I wanted to do so. And as I tell you guys, a lot of times I tend to change my mind as I go. And I think that is nothing to actually be ashamed of. Maybe you can actually celebrate it, because then trust yourself as you're an artist, that if you decided that something is not good, you would always you can always change. You don't have to go with your plan. What you really want to do is to make sure that you are not too rigid. Just be a little bit flexible enough that you can actually do things like that. Okay, now I clean the brush, I soften. Oops, too much liquid water in there. I come in here and soften it. Okay, soften the cap of his head just a little bit, because then he can blend in with the background. Okay, I go back to take some more pigment because I realized that I need some more pigment over there to make it more intense. Okay, I always make the bird around the around the beak area a more intense color, no matter what the color of the bird is. Okay, because that's usually the shape of the bird, they always curve in, so you can confidently, I think, make that more intense color. And towards the so much liquid in there, towards the cap of the bird, the top part of the bird, you might want to make it a little bit lighter in color. The intention for that is so that it can, so it's not a solid block of color. There's a changing and gradating, and so it make a form look more round and not too rigid. Okay, and so that's just something that I have learned through my experience, that is a good thing to do, you know, and you guys can see if you would like to do that too. Okay, you know, sometimes the black over here are not as intense, or maybe I put a little too much water, and so you're coming in and intensify that part of the bird, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, and let's get on to his neck area. You know, as you know, most of the time when we paint something with an animal or a bird on an object, we always like to make him here the center of attention. And you know, because he's a moving object, of course he rightly deserves that center of that attention. But today I am very excited about the painting of the snow scene, and so I would try to go through this and painting him a little bit faster than I normally would, so we can spend a little bit more time on the snow. And as we're painting the snow, we will go through some of the technique and why we do certain things, you know. And once you learn that, then you can, or once you get familiar with it, you can do almost anything with any snow scene. Okay, and so that will be very fun for you, because even though Christmas is over, we're still in the winterish time of the year, and spring is not here yet. And in spring it'll be a lot of fun, because what we will do is we will paint a lot of flowers, spring flowers, daffodil maybe, or crocuses, and all kinds of spring flowers. Spring flowers are kind of fun because they're nice and big, and we will do that. But it's winter time. Might be still a good time. I'm trying to get the brush quite dry, okay, and just pull out some of the color and blend it well together here, okay, and see if I'm happy. And I think I am happy. Okay, I will come back. Might as well do it now. Okay, and one of the things that I use a lot in this painting is paint spray. So so what I would suggest you, when you actually get ready to paint, is to have a lot of paint spray on your palette, okay? Because that's what we do a lot of the snow scene. And the mistake, if you can call that I made when I was doing my practice, is I didn't have enough paint spray. But then I was working so hard, and what I just did is I just put in a little bit of the paint spray here to show you that there's some shadow, just a little bit, on his face, because it is mainly white, okay? And I drop in just a tiny little bit of yellow ochre over here, okay? And you will see, I hope, if I forgot to talk about it, why I do that, because the yellow ochre is most Chickadee has some on their breasts or their belly. Okay, now I wanted to use my finest brush and use the black color and make this a little bit of a feather effect over here, so you can see that they are feather over here. And I'm not quite happy with the way his head just kind of go in like that. It looks kind of weird. So very simple, I would either get some black color or a little smidgen of Payne's gray. Okay, and you can see how I correct it. I will just come over here and slightly suggest that, yeah, no, my head is actually rounder than what Kathy just did. Okay, just like that. I think that looks a little bit prettier. I can actually go in and darken it, but I like the way it looks. It looks a little more artistic. Okay, so let's go on to the feather, the stronger feather over here. And then we put in some feather over there. And then we'll do the same thing, okay? We will have the stronger color over here and make it a little more diffuse, so that to suggest that the bird is actually kind of blending in with the background, okay? I know I like to explain that to you, what I'm doing, so that you can catch up. Oh, okay, for the feather, I actually use, even the strong feather, I use the Payne's Gray. So this is a Payne's Gray Intense paint along. Okay, so have a lot of Payne's Gray, the paint ready, the watercolor paint ready, so you won't run out like what I did. Okay, so I'm using the very, very fine line brush, okay, over here. Okay, I'm defining. I wanted to go in and make this area even a little bit stronger. Okay, let's see, right there. Okay, and then as it go towards the back of the back side of the body, I want a little less intense color, okay, a lighter gray. To just over here, I'm suggesting the presence of feathery thing here. Okay, don't have to go in and paint every feather. You can if you like that. Okay, but with my learning, that's what I usually do. And so right now I will see if maybe I use too small of a brush. I tend to trust this brush a lot because, it's such a fine line, give me so much control, I guess. But let's just do it right and give the second smallest brush a chance to do the job for us, and maybe I don't have to be so frustrated. And you guys are very kind with putting up with my my frustration. It's because I'm not willing to change my old ways. Okay, that's enough of a suggestion, and now I'm going to go in, clean the brush with the water, and just gently use some of the pigment from here to pull out, and you can almost tell the feather disappear into the background. Okay, I'm very happy with that. It seems pleasing to me, so that part is done. And now let's do this. Okay, now just something as we paint, I wanted to point out, because that was what I was thinking, and it's when you guys try to do birds feathery thing, okay, pay special attention to the tail. In the Chinese style of painting, the tails of a bird is very, very important. Okay, and so make sure you get the look carefully and get the shape correctly. Okay, be able to look at look at the shape of object is very important. Okay, and then we leave some white, and I think that's it, and I am happy with that. Okay, now make sure that the shape, you know, is not a rectangle. It's almost like a parallelogram. Okay, parallel on here, but it's like slanted here. Okay, so that is some point that you might want to pay attention when you paint. Okay, somebody just texted me, don't worry about it. My sister, sometimes I have to remind her, remember to remind. Okay, the bird always had this like little dot on the nose, we need to paint that. Okay, I have to remind my sister, hey, I'm going into painting, don't text me. One is I won't text you back, second is we will hear your buzzing sound, which is okay. I don't even know if you guys can hear it. Now what I'm doing is I'm using the second smallest brush and going to paint spray with a little bit of burnt sienna. Not pink spray, sorry, yellow ochre. Okay, and I'm going to drop a little bit of color on this side of his or her little chickadee's body. Okay, just a little bit, not very much. And not very much is enough. And then I will pull the color out. Okay, pull the color out, and that's sufficient. Okay, because a chickadee really is mainly black and white, and sometimes you can see them with a little bit of yellow. I think it depends on which kind, what area the chickadee come from. Some of them have more yellow than others. Okay, and then there's like this area. Okay, with a little bit, so to make him or her a little more interesting. Okay, and so that's what I'm doing right now, just putting a little bit of color, but I don't usually paint it very intense because I think we should, you know, really pay attention of being correct to what chickadees are. That they are very, very black and white, you know, if you look at it, especially from a far distance. But chickadees are actually really friendly birds. Some of my neighbors actually told me that they were actually able to, well, if you go out my backyard is like a sanctuary for the bird because I don't have neighbors on the back. We have this gully behind me, and sometimes there are water, like a little trickle of water in the gully area, and so the birds will come and they will come and partake of the water, and I really enjoy watching them. And when I first moved in, and I will explain a little bit why I don't do it now. When I first moved in, of course, like anybody who loves bird, as much as I do, would go out and put out, wow, at least 2 bird feeder. I bought a bucket of bird seeds to feed them because it's just so much fun seeing them coming to the backyard. And very unfortunately, after they I have a little season of enjoying them. Guess who found my bird seed? Of course, you guys can guess, it's the squirrels. Do I not love squirrels? I love them. They're also very, you know, animals, and they're fun to watch, and, you know, nice to have them around. And however, they decided that because they're so close to the birds, to the bird seeds, to the food source, they decide to dig into my foundation of my house and take residence there. And that was distressing for my husband and for me, and so we didn't allow them to stay for very long. And finally my husband told me, you decided that he thinks that okay, let me finish explaining to you guys. Okay, so now after we had dropped in the yellow, Leave this part almost white if you want to. Now we're going down into this part, and this brush doesn't have pigment, okay? I can use some paint spray. I'm going to use some paint spray and a little bit of indigo to paint the breast part of the chickadee. Okay, so to indicate that it is you know, in the kind of in the shadowy part. Okay, and when you do that, then the bird's body, the body of this bird or any bird, will suddenly be more round. Okay, because you know, the darker color indicate the shadow, and as human being, we will look at it and we say, you know, we can kind of, you know, quickly form a, now this is in the light, this is in the shadow, and so it's kind of like an oval bird. Okay, and so that's what I am trying to do, and hope you guys can see it well. And sorry, I'm tinkering with my tablet that's next to me so that I won't lose the image that I am, you know, I have reference image next to me so that I won't make mistake. Okay, and so a little bit, just a little before I forget, you know, sometimes I don't do it, I do it when it's drier because I don't trust my brush. See, I think that brush is a little too big, and I go to my small brush and I put in a little bit of indigo, because under the wings, right? Under the wings, the bird himself casts the shadow there, right? So he's pretty much done. Okay, for now, I might come back as we go on with the painting and may have to do something. But so, like I say, let's don't spend so much time on the bird and move on to what is the fun part. Okay, now we're going to do the you will do the tree with the snow. Okay, now you see that I have this is my trusty eraser. I always do that, and you guys are used to me now. Okay, because the lines over there not so important to me, but if I had put a line there, okay, just for the beginning, I'm going to show you this, and I'll do that throughout this whole painting. Okay, I put a line here, and this is the line of the snow line. I call that the snow line. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, okay, is to go in and load my paintbrush with very, very intense pink spray. Okay, and not only do I do that, okay, I will go over to my indigo and mix the paint spray with the indigo on my brush. Okay, I know that's hard, but it is on the tip of my brush. That's how it look like. Okay, and then I'm going to show you from over here. Okay, now can you see that as I put my brush on? The color is very, very intense. Okay, and I need to keep that intense because this is a night scene. Okay, and it might be beneficial if you wanted to go and try to just paint some pine leaves or boughs. I think that's how they call it, if you so decide. Okay, and get yourself familiar with how to just kind of, you know, look at what I'm doing. I'm actually drawing it, right? I'm drawing the bough as I go because, you know, I am quite familiar with it. You know, I promise you guys a lot of things, but a lot of times I'm not sure if you guys need it or you guys really wanted me to do it. And so I can tell you that if you guys wanted me to, I will make a video of how to paint pine, trunk, trees, and leaves and everything, okay? And then, you know, just so that we can have a practice paint along, okay, before we go into something a little more complicated as this, okay? And so now at this point, okay, the fun thing about snow is when the snow get on top, it get on top of the pine tree, it is roundish, kind of bulkyish things. Okay, so the way to paint it is we pull a little bit of pigment from what we just paint. Okay, pull a little bit of pigment. Now this pigment or this color that we have here does not belong to the pine tree. It actually belongs to the snow. Okay, and I will in a minute, after this is dry, when we're going on to actually painting, finishing up the snow area, I will tell you what I mean by that. Okay, it is almost like a shadow of the snow, okay, that we just pull out on the top that is next to the snow, not on the bottom, not on the side. The shadow kind of belong to the top part, okay? And so we will come back and I will do that with you more, and when we continue on the painting, and I'll talk to you more about that, okay? Now I'm doing the same thing. I'm going in with my brush, very, very intense, very, very intense amount of Payne's gray, very little water, and plus indigo, okay? And so now what I'm going to do is to show you how I, you have seen me paint for quite a while now, okay? You hardly see me use miscus or something to reserve the white. That's what some artists likes to do, okay? I don't do that. I just go in and carefully reserve the white myself using the tip of my brush, okay? Okay, so you see that how I'm reserving the white of the chickadee feet, okay? And that's how I usually do it. There's no really good reason why I do that, and maybe you can call that I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that I'm lazy. But I find that this method worked better for me, and it teaches me how to be careful to work around object. And I think that in the beginning of my painting, I did use a miscut and try to reserve the white, and it did never work very well. Okay, now so what did I just do? I just go to burnt umber, but it wasn't dark enough for me, so I mixed the burnt umber color with black. Okay, and I'm just like randomly using my artist license, I can say, and just put shadow there. Now why is it that I use Payne's gray and indigo, and now I go in and use burnt umber and black? Okay, now this is just burnt umber. I pull some of the color out, and I want some of the burnt umber to show, okay, as I'm pulling this out. And since you can't ask me question, I will ask myself question and answer them. Isn't that funny? And so what I'm doing is, burnt umber has a lot of orange in it. Before I keep going with burnt umber, I wanted you to see this, okay? Now I'm doing the same thing as what I did over here, okay? I'm pulling out a little bit of color, okay? Pulling out color from the top here. And so later we can use that as the shadow of the snow, okay? Okay, let's I know that there's a lot of tree that I need to go to make sure that this painting is pretty, right? And so I must not waste time talking too much. I must keep going with the branches so that you guys can see, okay? Now, one thing about artists is art is you want a variety of forms and shapes. It is more pleasing to the eye that we give a variety of forms and shapes. And so do not sometimes like if you're painting like maybe 10 branches, don't make the 10 branches look exactly like each other, okay? Make sure that you have it bear in your mind that your branches, now here I come with the burnt umber and the black color again, okay? Just wait for me. I will get to that and explain to you why, okay? Let's look at talk about the shape, because if you allow yourself or maybe you weren't thinking and mindlessly put in a lot of shapes that look like each other, like the branch here look like the previous branch, your painting at the end will not be as successful, because to people it might be too monotonous. To our human eye, okay? We really like variety, okay? We really like variety, and so it makes a painting very interesting. So as an artist, you need to make sure you discipline yourself, and as you are painting, you tell yourself, okay, remember variety, okay? Don't keep painting the same shape. Shapes and forms need to be different, so that it will not be monotonous to people, okay? And so right over here, I'm going to use just indigo with a little bit of green, but it needs to be dark green, and indigo is a very bluish green color, right? And so I'm going to pull that out here. And what am I doing, you may ask, is I'm introduce more color actually to otherwise might seems a little bit monochromatic, okay, painting. And now I'm going back to the burnt umber, and I'm keep dropping a little bit more and a little bit more, because at this point I also felt like, oh, maybe I can talk a little bit about burnt umber. Okay, burnt umber has orange in it. As I begin to talk a little bit, and Payne's gray has blue, and it's a blue-gray color. Burnt umber is an orange-brown. Okay, so it gives your eye a place to rest, because with this painting that we're doing is so intensely, predominantly blue color. You know, your eye will be fatigued by the blue. And so it's very good that, you know, randomly here and there you put in some complementary color to blue, which is orange, right? I think so. Complementary to blue is orange, and burnt umber fit the bill really well here. Okay, so you can see that there's a cluster of the branches, and you can see how the snows are forming. Okay, so we, on top of using the shadow, now here I'm bringing out some shadow. Okay, on top of using the shadow to indicate the snow, we also, at the very end, we will use the background to indicate the snow. And the shadow and the background combined together, we can see the snow very well. I have always wanted to paint snow, always just fascinated about snow in watercolor, and you can see that I just dropped some green in that area. Okay, okay, let's go over here. Okay, you can see that I have some indication of a pencil line to help me to remember where I should do the next branch, so to speak, or the peeking out of the tree. Okay, if I were not like teaching in a video form, or not teaching painting along with you guys, I hate to call myself a teacher, I would probably don't need that pencil guideline very much. What I will do is I will just assess the painting as I'm painting it, and then I will see, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I should do a branch here, or maybe I should do a branch over there, and just, you know, be able to be a little flexible and make decision like that. But it is a little bit hard when you are trying to paint and talk and think at the same time. So I decided that after I've done this a few times now, that I do need the pencil line to help me, so that I can, you know, remember what I had been thinking. You know, and as you are very more comfortable with painting and be able to like, you know, find an object and then do some painting yourself, you find that that is a very enjoyable process for you. And I hope that you guys can someday, you know, or very soon, be able to do that, so that you would be able to really enjoy the process of creating and thinking, and be confident about using your brushes and your knowledge, to about composition and design. Okay, so you can see that I really am not, like, where did this shape come from? That is a very, very good question. It just come from my head. It really just did come from my head. I'm looking as I'm thinking. I have this kind of shape. I need to have some shape here. And all these shapes, what are these shapes? They are just nothing but the pine, right? Of the tree that we're trying to paint, that is underneath the snow. Okay? And we need not be too uptight about what kind of shape and what we are seeing. But more that it is dark. It is dark, and it is random. And so periodically you might want to say, hey, I'm using some brown color. So I'm thinking that what I'm doing actually is, this may be a branch, okay? Or over here, I'm using a brown color, it's not a branch. Oh, I just put in a pine cone. It looks like a pine cone, right? Over there, at least, realistically, really is not, but, people doesn't need to know what that is. But generally, they know that you are painting pines. Okay, and so once in a while you say that, well, the the shapes are just a little too abstract. Okay, yeah, that's the term, abstract. So you can see that I did a little bit here, right? That I'm saying that, okay, let's just, periodically give it a little bit of a pine shape, okay? So I'm trying over here. The bough that come out of the branch, okay? Let's just do that, okay? We will just say that, oh, okay. So once a while, you might just need to do one branch, to just give yourself a suggestion, a reminder that, oh, not yourself, you're painting, that I am actually painting pine, okay? But other than that, you can just like kind of cross here and there, put in shapes that doesn't really matter and make sense. Because line and shapes are beautiful. They are. They're really beautiful. And the more variety, the happier, it is to the eye. And I don't know if you guys do that kind of thing when you, like, if you have a painting at home. Sometimes, when you have a moment, do you stand in front of it and just kind of look at it? I do that a lot. I don't, in my house, I have other artists painting, not just mine. And I will, take a minute and just enjoy it, and think about the artist, think about what he or she were doing, and what the, what is it about the beauty of that painting, right? And so I do things like that. I just go and take time in the day. I just do enjoy things around my house. And if I have time, one of my favorite outing is to go to the museum, of course. And I'm sure all of you who are here, you must enjoy art, or doing or painting, or this kind of thing, that will bring you here to my channel, right? And I'm sure you guys enjoy going to museum as much as I do. I wish you're here, then we can go to museum together. I have good friends in my area that neighbors and church members that we actually sometimes goes to museum together. And the local university, BYU, has a very beautiful museum. And Not everything in the museum is beautiful. Should I say that? I mean, you know, if I say it wrong, it is people's creation, and sometimes, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and well, let's just like some of them are more of my favorite than others. Okay, so I'm quite happy with this area. Okay, and so I will go, and I hope that you guys go to museum a lot, because it is a good education for us. It really is, because it is food to the soul. And as artists, the more you expose yourself to this kind of life with museum going, the more beautiful thing you see, the better it is for you to appreciate beauty and create beauty. Okay, I truly believe that, and that's one of my. If you ask my husband or ask my children, if I have an afternoon off, where would I go? And you know, play the game of who guess where mommy would go. Of course, you will be correct if you guess museum, and the second, you'll be correct if also guess the library. Because my maestro, I talk about her here and there because I know she watches my painting. I'm very grateful she does, because she also is one of my neighbor. I think I told you that a long time ago. I learned, you know, something that she had learned from Italy a long time ago, and she would tell you that don't ever pass by an old book without an old book, you know, like an old book that you see in on the shelves. Don't ever pass by an old book without opening it, because you might be holding a gem. And so that's what I do. Well, and then I take that, okay, I'm doing the same thing, okay? Push this up a little bit so that you can, you know, prepare the shadow for in a minute what we're gonna do with the background, okay? And she always tell me, yeah, don't pass by an old book. But I remember one day I just was on an outing, and I come back from the outing, and I decided to stop by her house and say, hey, you know, Sister England, look what I found in the library. If I find really awesome art, sometime I will stop by her house and show her. And that was when she tell me, yeah, don't ever leave an old book without opening it. One of the hair shed out. That's fine. Okay, now hippity hop, let's keep going. Okay, and then now we're up to this area over here. Okay, you can see that I have a big bunch of snowy area that we need to fill. Okay, and so let's hold the brush back a little bit so that you have more wrist freedom, and be bold and go into here and slap in shapes. Okay, and don't worry about the mixing of the color. Mix it on the brush. It will be beautiful, I promise you. The less you worry about it, the more beautiful. Well, with some kind of experience, it will be very pleasing to you. Okay, now I'm just like saying that, oh wow, there's a big bunch of green showing, but since it's at night, so it's not green. Okay, I hope I can put it in words what's going on in my head. Let's just put it that way. Okay, sometimes you can see me do things and why is she doing that? I don't know. I'm doing that because I'm thinking a certain way, and my hand will just go ahead and do it for me. And then if I forgot to tell you, then I felt sad and sorry. But I do try, as you know, that I do try to inform you what's going on in my head, so that you know what's going on in my head. I think that's a good thing. Okay, and now I wanted to just for fun, okay, just for fun and variety, I wanted to introduce a little slight touch of green down here. no rhyme or reason, because you know, sometimes I just like felt like, wow. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. That is a reason. Okay, like if my mind tell me or my eyes tell me there's just too much of a few certain color, right? I would automatically go in and put in some different color just to make it more variety for me. Okay, and now I wanted to have a snow form here. Okay, so what I just did is actually a background, a sort of a background. Okay, and so if I do that, you know, I happen to do that. Now what I want is, I don't want the snow to be like a line, a hard line. Some part of it can be a hard line, some part of it I want to be a soft line. Okay, so what I just did is I go in and soften that green color. I put in some more water, soften that green color, so it will go into my snow. Okay, so you can already see that there's a cluster of snow here. Okay, we're gonna do more, and I will show you as we quickly or skillfully go through this part of our painting. Okay, so because we're trying to make a real nice painting go on, I don't want to do too little of the tree. I don't want to do too much, because you know, with YouTube I'm constrained with time, you know, and how long this video is. But that's okay, we are getting better and better as time go on. Okay, so hold your brush back all the way back to your stem, I mean to this part of your brush, so you have more freedom. Do you know that if you do that, you can, oh wow, I was out. Oh, I'm so glad I look, so you guys don't miss this part. Okay, so I'm not really too uptight or worried about what's going on over here. Okay, I just want forms, I just want shapes, you know, and different ones, because this is a very good painting for you to, you know, actually explore those kind of freedom, right? And so it's very fun doing painting this way. You know, you use your watercolor to the funnest way possible, if that actually makes sense. I think it does. Okay, and so now I have some green here. I need to have some green down here to make this consistent, so I will just kind of do it now, because as time goes on I get a little too anxious about the time, you know, and the video being too long, and I will forget to do things or show you what I'm doing, and I don't like that, and just leave you without a good explanation. Okay, if you can see, I'm grabbing paper. I had a big drop of water. Bam. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so I put some green here so it's more consistent with the whole painting. Okay, so let's make sure I am in the frame, and now I'm going back to my burnt umber, intense burnt umber plus black, and need to put some of those there and some of those there, as if there is a pine cone peeking out. Okay, see if there's a pine cone peeking out from there, but it's too late and too dark for you and I to see the pine cone, and so we just see that as a glob of black color. Okay, and so we're getting there. We're almost done with painting the pine under the snow. Okay, so okay, I think this is the, okay, make sure I'm in frame. Okay, go back on holding your brush. Okay, make some expressive shape. Okay, don't be afraid, just make those shapes, drop those color, pick up some green and drop it in. Okay, so what green is it? You can use sap green, you can use perlin green, and those are the things that I have talked to you guys about throughout all these painting my favorite greens. Okay, more indigo over here. Okay, so this is quite an important branch because it goes down and lead your eye onto the bird, right? Even though I tell you, now what I'm doing is putting more Payne's Gray to darken that area, okay? Even though I tell you, I don't think that the birds should be the star, but I guess they are the star sometimes. We must give them the spotlight, I guess. But you are the artist and you are the boss, okay? Just so you know that. Okay, and here I wanted to do a black spot. Actually, it's not black, it's actually my my brown. This is my brown and black, burnt umber and black mix, okay? Okay, and let's give it a little bit more of a burnt umber here, okay? Okay. Okay, and then we will go back here and did that, and then we have done that. Okay, now if we are ready, we're somewhat ready. It will never. Let's go in and do the snow. Okay, now what we're gonna do right now is to use the background. Okay, so for my background, I'm mainly going to use Payne's Gray. Okay, I might drop some burnt umber and black in the back as I go. Okay, so this will be a part where it'll be easiest for you to see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, if you can see my pencil line, a faint line. Okay, I might do a solid line, and I will bring in the background, and then another solid line, and then it go over there. Okay, now, but if you're at first you're not comfortable, then just draw a pencil line of the snow. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we don't have what do you call us? We don't have a police here. We do what we are comfortable with, and we don't care. We really don't care if we are not doing what we do what is not easiest. I wouldn't say the easiest. What's more comfortable, okay, to us, and that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so you can either see I'm going through this, and this is the line of the snow. Okay. Okay, I have a lot of pigment here. And so I'm trying to use the pigment, but then I'm going to come in here. Now this brush that I'm using is given to me by my daughter from Texas for Christmas time because, I wanted to try. I told her I wanted to try. Okay, I'm softening and softening over here, okay? Now, the snow line, okay, and the color I'm using is Payne's Gray, okay? And the snow line is here, right? And the snow come down here, okay? And you can already see the snow forming. But why do I leave a hole over there? I'm trying to bring the background into the snow. Okay, just like so. Okay, so lost line, fine line, okay? You find the line here and you lost it, and you find it again over here, and your eye is very good at doing those kind of things. So don't be afraid, just bring in the background color into the snow, and that will look so pretty. Okay, but then at the end there's one more thing that we needed to do, okay? So, and I won't forget to explain that part to you, okay? So don't worry, we'll just keep going. Okay, keep going with our Payne's Gray. Okay, and keep going with here with the snowy background. Okay. Okay. And as you go, you can see that there is a lot of water over here. Okay, I put in a lot of water so that they don't quickly form too harsh of a line. Okay, so the snow is sitting down here and over here, and I wanted to make sure that we have that good line, a good line over there so you can see. So okay, so we're working the background. Background is a very big area, okay, and so we wanted to be able to work quickly. Not because it's big, but because you don't want a lot of harsh line forming in the background, if that makes sense, okay, while you're doing this. But since I'm going to put, I'm going to drop some white color as snow, you don't have to be really worried about the line being too harsh or, you know, not pleasing, okay? Just do your best, okay? And use a lot of water, and then use your pigment and drop in the water and move the best that you can, okay? All right, and so now we're going close to the branch, right? And so we do the same thing. We bring in, I just bring in a lot of water, which I actually am happy because I tend to not pull in enough water, but I just did. Okay, pull the water in and pull it here and there. Okay, it's just to help you. Okay, so to buy you time. Yeah, that's the, you know, when your paper is wet, it buy time for you so that you can, you know, finish area. And I know that painters or artists that do buildings and things like that, they use a lot of water because painting landscape and big building, the background is very, very important, right? And so they will do, they use a lot of water so that they can have the time that they need to finish a different area of their painting, okay? And so, yeah, we can leave some white, and the white will just look like it's snow, okay? That doesn't bother me. That's part of the, you know, the charm of watercolor, is that there's snow, so you can already see some snow drops, okay, over here, okay? Now, here where we are approaching we're just bringing in and putting a little more pigment from our paint spray, okay? Putting in here, and that is the snow line, okay? It's a very soft one. This one is hard, but it's a hard snow line, but it's still good, okay? So that's your snow line, okay? And then over here, that's the beginning of another snow line, if you see that, okay? And I'm softening it so that the line is kind of soft around that snow line over there. Sometimes I put a pencil line, and I am wondering, sometimes I wonder why I put a pencil line on a certain area, and it's absolutely funny. But I would tell myself, okay, as long as I have a line there, I'm good. Okay? Okay, so the snow is coming in here and there, okay? So this part is actually quite nice. Right here, I'm quite happy with it. So not going to put in a lot more color, just drop some gray color here and there. And then you can already see there's a branch and there's snow over here too, okay? Another branch, okay? Now what I was trying to tell you is I saw a pencil line over there. I don't know why, but so as I'm thinking right now, what I will do is I will just fill it in a little bit later. Isn't that funny? I guess maybe most people are not like me. They don't really forget why they put a line there, but I do. Okay, and then there's like more snow coming in here, and this is also part of the background, okay? More fluffy snow. And I need to also take some time to explain a little bit about making shadow for the snow. And I will get to that in a minute, okay? So don't worry. At least I promise you. And I'll try to keep my promise. It is a little hard to be talking and thinking and painting, and that's to paint fast at the same time, but I'm actually getting the hang of it, and I really sort of like it. Okay, we're going around his neck. I mean, no, the top part of his cap, okay? So, as you know me, I don't mind mixing this area with the background because I think that's actually quite pretty. And so I just did that. Okay, I'm coming in. And, okay, so the brush that I'm using is actually a cheapy brush that I find on Amazon that is made in China. And I wanted to try it, so I tell my daughter, she didn't know what to get for me. Tell my daughter to get that for me for Christmas, and I quite like it. There's really nothing wrong with it. There's no shedding yet, and it seems to barely, like, see, I had that drop. Do you see that little white opening? Yes, why not? We'll leave it there. It already did the snow for us without us needing to do that, so we can just do that, okay? Yay, happy for us, clap. Okay, now the same here, okay? I have no problem. Just let the bird and the background blend, okay? So, isn't that cool? You will not think anything of it that is wrong, or it's not right that it's there. No, it actually is very smooth. It make the birds look like she belong to this snowy evening of some kind, okay? Now, so what I just did, I just made a mistake here. I forgot to leave some room right here. This is a pencil for my snow, okay? And so now I'm coming in and say, yes, I need to remember that. And you can see that. Don't be scared. I catch myself that I make the mistake. So I come in and fix it. Okay. Blend the area together, and here's my snow. You can still see my snow is there. It's there. I rescued my snow. It actually showed up. Okay, isn't this fun? Okay, so you try to reserve that white space and try not to put too much of that, so you can see that it's there, right? You see the snow area that is right underneath. And so since I wanted to put a little line here. Okay, just so but not too dark, okay? Not too dark. Not too dark. Okay, there you go. Do you see the snow? Isn't that pretty? Yeah, isn't that pretty? It just kind of show up. And that's the line. Okay, and then we get our snow. Okay, so we're going to keep going and keep going and keep using water and pigment to keep working on the background, okay? And just for fun, I'm going to drop some green down here, just for fun. Add some life to the background. And keep dropping this gray color, this Pink's gray color, okay? It's very pretty. Soften it as you go if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Okay, so let's just pretend that there's snow there, snow here, and then I'm, so what I'm doing is I'm just using, right now it's just water, okay? Not a whole lot of water, just kind of like a damp brush, okay? and just go along this area, and it will help my paint spray to flow better, okay? And I have a little line here to remind me, don't go in there because that's where your snow is. Okay, and if I say, okay, I need to be a little more intense, then I'll drop a little more darker pigment. My paintbrush is now loaded with water, so I need to go and get more pigment, okay? And I just did, and that's fine. Okay, to intensify the area that is around here. It's very, very nice. And I'll say, okay, down here is about good enough. Okay, and so now I'm going towards this area, and I have a little pencil line there, so that's just to remind me of where I have intended for the snow to go, okay? So it's just over there. Now, I don't know if you notice, I just go in here with just some water, and the pigment from my original earlier, the pigment just kind of show, you can pull it out, out of the painting, and it will just come out. Sometimes it will. I think with the brown it might be a little bit harder, but with paint spray is a very easy movable color, and I have talked about red is a very easy movable color, okay? So we need to make friends with red and try to be careful with red. Paint spray sometimes can do the same thing too, okay? And there's a patch of snow there, and I'm very happy. And so I will tell you, because I will not be going through this process with you. Over here, I'm going to drop indigo and gray pigment over here, okay? At the very, very end. But today, with us having so much to do, I'm not going to have the time. I have the chance to do that with you. And if you really wanted to see how I use a paintbrush and drop color onto area, you can go watch my whale watercolor painting, and in there I have a special area, a special portion at the very end that I show you how I drop color, okay? And you can just go watch that, or you can leave me a comment and say, Kathy, I want you to, if you don't mind, do a special dropping color for us to see, and your wish is my command, and I will do so, okay? Just let me know, and I will take some time to, splash color. It really is not like that hard. You just go in and splash, and it's not my favorite thing to do because it dirty everything. Look how it dirty my mat, but that's okay. Now, what I just did is I put some burnt umber over here. Why do I do that? Because I always have it in my mind that a painting needs to be consistent. There is brown here, so I bring out the brown there. So the background and the foreground is more harmony, okay? And so now, what I also wanted to do is I told you a couple of minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, that I have a line. I don't know why I have the line. Okay, it's this line right here. So what I'm gonna do is just come in and fill out that pencil line. And try my best to blend in this area, okay? Okay, now the line is gone. And so what I wanted to do is to, okay, there are a couple things I wanted to do, but I think I will do how to paint now the snow, okay? To do the snow part, and I also wanted to soften this line here. I don't know if you see that. That line is a little harsh for me. But since paint spray is such an easier thing to do, so I will do that. I might do it right in front of you, or I may do that without you, by myself later, okay? But before I do that, let's what I think is very important is this cluster over here is a little too much together, okay? So I need to what I call is break this up. So what I need to do is bring in my color and make sure that I have some snow over here and I have some snow over there, and just kind of break up this big patch of white over here. Okay, let's get that done first before we proceed to anything else. Okay, and so what we need is this same brush that can load a lot of water, and we're going to come over here and just kind of slightly wet it. And then I'll bring in some gray color and see if we can successfully break up this big patch of white. Okay. Okay. Much better, right? Now that become a background area instead of a big patch of snow. Okay, that's the branches that's right above it, and here's my patches and my background. Okay, and then I soften this area and soften this area. And so what just happened in front of your eye is an artist, which is me, had just made a decision to make a painting a little more pleasing to me. Okay, and that's what I just did. Okay, I just make that painting a little bit more pleasing to me. Isn't that nice that we can do that? Okay, and I really think that this line is like, it's a little too rigid or hard, so I will just come in and gently soften that. Okay, soften that area. Okay, so that's nice, right? Now let's go into the shadow. Okay, now so what I'm going to do from this point on, I'm going to use indigo blue and ultramarine, okay, to make shadow for a snow. Okay, so my paintbrush actually has some indigo in it. Okay, we will go back over here and get the shadow in here. Okay, get the shadow in here. And one of the things that I find is more realistic when you do the shadow at this time is to make the shadow go up and down. Okay, vertical. Okay, now, and a very beautiful thing is, because ultramarine is such a beautiful blue color, you will drop that here and there. Okay, this is the ultramarine. Okay, drop the color here and there. You don't need a lot, but just a little bit of that will just what is American called icing on the cake. Now I'm doing the shadow again. Okay, and I'm trying to go up and down, as you can see. Okay, up and down, shadow, very, very gentle, very, very soft. Okay, do some kind of up and down shadow over here, and make sure it's soft and gentle. Okay, and then go to the ultramarine color and just put a drop. Make sure it's soft, there's no harsh line to it. Okay, just a soft. And the way to make things soft is to dip your brush in water and bring it out. Okay, so okay, let's work on this area of this patch of snow right here. Okay, the same thing, we do a little bit of indigo. Okay, and then we're doing up and down. Okay, you see that? Okay, up and down. Let the shadow be just up. I mean like straight. Okay, do it straight. Okay, and then I will go in and get the ultramarine and just put some of it over there, and that suddenly turned the painting just very, very it brightens up a little bit, okay, and make it prettier. Okay, now what do I need to do? Now, because consistent, right? Remember? Okay, so I need to get some ultramarine and put it on the Chickadee so that she or he doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Okay, and since it's blue, I decided that I'll just do it in the blue area. So now we're working this now at the very, very last stage. Okay, so as you look at it, if you're watching, or do you see snow? I'm sure you have seen snow in this painting, but the feeling of snow and cold, yeah, that's what my sister told me. After I finished this, I sent it to her to, you know, just for her to take a look. I do that, you know, I like my family to look at stuff, and I say, do you feel snow? And my sister told me, Kathy, it's very cold. Yes, I saw snow and it's very, very cold. And I say, well, yes, it's okay. That's what I wanted to accomplish. So I'm glad that you can feel the coldness, right? You can feel the coldness. And this putting the ultramarine part into the painting is actually quite important of the snow part of the making the not the snow, making it look cold, if that makes sense. There's like a frosty bite to it, you know, a frosty feeling to the whole painting. Okay, more ultramarine. I've used a lot of ultramarine in the recent painting because since Christmas I've been painting the Christmas bear with the dream and the sheep. I really like the sheep. Okay, and all those you can see how there's a big bunch of snow here, a big bunch of snow there. Okay, I hope you are happy, you know, with what we've been doing. And so now what we need to do is just go in and finish up the snowy shadow. Okay, finish up the snowy shadow. So I put some water in it and maybe a little bit of indigo. A little bit of indigo here and there. And then quickly ultramarine. Okay, are you enjoying doing the snow scene? Okay, I know that this is a big bunch of snow, at least for me, to have to paint it right in one shot. But as I tell you, right, do not despair. For you at home, you can always take your time and just do it whenever you can, or when you're not as fatigued. You know, sometimes doing a lot of things for an hour or so can be fatigue, and if that happens to you, just come back. And also I need to remind you to if the quality is not as good, make sure you just go change the quality yourself on YouTube. Okay, there's a little button that looks like a gear, and that button will allow you to change the change the resolution to higher resolution. Because I always have this like worry nagging me that you guys that are following me have to do it in very, very low resolution. That will be very sad for me, because you don't have to. Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. You can do it in higher resolution. Just have to go change that gear. It's just that simple. Go to the gear and ask for high. Click on the higher quality. Okay. Hey, a little bit of ultramarine there. So, what do you guys think? Do you feel like he's standing in some very wet and cold pine? And she the chickadee, and it's a bunch of snow. Okay, now it's 1 hour and 13 minutes. Okay, so I always like to, you know, do as much as I can. So let's just soften this area over here with you, okay? Because when I make mistake, or not really make mistake, when something happen, because watercolor is not always they don't always do exactly what we want, and sometimes there's just too much pigment. And so what we do is, or what I do is, just to take a brush that has more coarse hair. The hair are a little more coarse, and then I go in, and then I can trying to disperse the pigment. Of that area, so it become a little bit softer and not as intense. Okay, and so that's what I just did. Okay, and I wanted to show you that, so that, you know, because those are very precious moments. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and quickly painted her. You know, I need to do a little bit of shadow over here, so let's just do it while you guys are here. Why not? Okay, use some indigo plus Pink's gray. I was going to say goodbye and just go back and do it, but I wanted you guys to see. Just do a little bit of a shadow for our beautiful chickadee, and so that she's he or she is anchored to the snow, to the branch of the tree, right? And so she's not floating out there anymore, huh? And on top of doing this part over here to anchor her, okay, and be sure that this little area is like everything is soft over here. So I try to accomplish the fact that this chickadee is actually blend into the snow. Okay, and then over here, his little feet, claw, whatever you call it, I also wanted to anchor it. Okay, so I just wanted to show that to you guys. So he's just casting some kind of a shadow onto this area. Okay, and this area, the reason why it's darker is because it is part of the branch. This area, our chickadee is actually standing on the snow. Okay, same over there. I put a little bit of a line there, so that to indicate some kind of shadow that's cast by our chickadee. Okay, and over here is snow, but it looks awfully white to me. So what I'm going to do is just go and get some ultramarine and put some over there, so you can see that. Oh, that is a patch of snow over there. Okay, I know a lot of painters or watercolorists, once upon a time, they like to use acrylic or gouache and put it on top of the branch, but I think this is more pleasing, and it's a really fun thing to do, and I hope you guys will try it. And the only three things that a couple of things I will do is I will put white, some white watercolor, maybe just splash some onto the painting for snow. And then over here, I will splash green, not green, actually indigo or Pink's gray, to make sure that you can see that there is more of the green peeking out. But anyway, so I hope you guys have a lot of fun painting this with me, and don't be discouraged, you can do it. And you can see that I make mistake, everyone make mistake, and watercolor, sometimes we can actually fix that, and most of the time we can. And so I may actually come over here and darken that a little bit, and I will do that and put the finished painting over here so you can follow along. Okay, and you guys have a very nice day, and I will put this up as soon as possible, and I hope to hear from you, and keep your brush wet and keep painting. and don't get discouraged, okay? Bye-bye.